worse when you're not here. Let's turn the clock